So, like the last lady, I want to share a story yesterday, and probably I have a question too. But yesterday, when we arrived in Bilbao, I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I realized that I had a heart rhythm disturbance. And it's something which I have already for 20 years.
Yes.
And the last 4 years, I didn't have it anymore. So I thought, problem solved. So when I noticed it, I was really annoyed. I was really disappointed, and I thought, oh my God. And it has to be restored by an electroshock. So I went to the medical service here downstairs in the deck 2, and they said we cannot do it because we're not allowed. It has to be done by a cardiologist. Huh? And so I had to go to the hospital in Bilbao. And I know the whole procedure takes about 6 till 8 hours, because you first have to check in and blah, 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 and the whole thing. So we went to Bilbao, and at 1:30, I think it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I just arrived in the hospital. And a lot of administration, etc. So at 1:30, I was laying in bed, and I thought, I can't manage it to go back on the ship, because we had to go back on the ship at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. And I was still annoyed, but I thought, these thoughts doesn't help me. So I have to change my mind. I have to change my thoughts and my energy. But it was hard to do, because I know what to do, but it was hard to do because I felt I was worried. I did it, I was trying it, and I felt really comfortable at the moment. Sometimes I felt comfortable, sometimes not, because I didn't believe it. And
Talking about emotional comfort?
Yeah. And trust also that it will succeed, etc. And suddenly everything went very smoothly. I was straight into bed. There was a doctor who spoke very good English, and I also knew what I want, because I know the whole procedure, half of it is not, for me, not so good anymore. Medicine into an, how do you call it, IV? Yeah. And the medicine doesn't work, but they say we have to follow the protocol. And first the medicine, then wait for 4 hours, and then the cardioversion, and you have to rest out. And then I thought, okay, it doesn't work then. I'm not that time back on the ship. But I was convinced also. I said to the lady, well, the medicine doesn't work, but okay, do it. If the protocol says it has to be done, then wait for 1 hour, because within 1 hour it has to be, it helps me or not. And then she said, okay, we do it because you are convinced. And you're also the patient, you're also an expert on your own disease. So.
Which is a very wise person.
Yeah, that was very wise, yes. And I thought, okay, I'm creating my reality which I want. Well, I think it was about 4 o'clock, I got the electroshock, and at 5 o'clock I was back on the ship. So I managed it. And when I went back on the ship and I looked back to the whole event, I thought, hey, this is a really, really clarifying moment, because I changed my mind, and also, when I look back, I can see also the cooperative components. Because there was a lady on the ship also, she was with me also, because in Spain, in the hospitals in Spain, the doctors speak poor English, so they say, someone's joining you who speaks Spanish and English, and she did a great, great, great job. And then the doctor came, and then, so everything went, you know, I thought, oh, this is big stuff. And when I came back on the ship, and I felt also my energy was also changed, really changed. I was so grateful that I went back on the ship. And even I noticed that the time was even somehow became slower. I felt gifted. I felt, especially this morning also. And I thought, this is, in this whole environment, with you, in front of you, and with all the people, and that this happened at this time, it's kind of a gift. And now a question. Because I thought, the resistance at the first place, it felt, I was really annoyed. I thought, is this a step 1 resistance, step 5 resistance, you told on the first day? And the step 5 resistance is when you know that's coming good.
When you realize you're back in step 1, but it's all right. You're not mad at yourself. In other words, you're aware that you are in a resistant moment, but you are not compounding the resistant moment by beating up on yourself. Instead, you're sort of stepping back from it, looking at it through the eyes of source.
Yeah, but at the first place, I felt, why me? Why at this time? Why not next week or whatever, you know? But why now? So I was...
Our friend earlier was talking about, is it possible that I could be called to something for the benefit of something? So there is some of that. We liked your words especially when you said it felt to you like it gave you an opportunity to focus in an environment where you are particularly in sync with source, to focus upon something that ordinarily would take you out of vibrational sync. It's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because this whole experience is about alignment, it's about rhythm, it's about syncing up. And so it's nice, isn't it? That
Yes, because I noticed that you always said every situation has two sides of the stick. Eh?
yes?
I noticed it yesterday. I thought, okay, I have a choice. I can choose for either one end of the stick or the other one.
All right, well, it's a wonderful conversation, so let's dig into it a little bit. So we were talking about the stick, or the new example of the train, with the engines going this way and the engines going that way, and how every subject is really two subjects, and that in every case, you always have a choice of which way you're leaning. So as you're in this more intense environment, in a situation, unlike a lot of situations where timing is really of the essence. So something happened that ordinarily would have caused you to put more engines on the other end of the train, more resistance that would pull. But because of the importance of the focus, because of your desire to return to the ship, something about the timing activated within you a stronger resource to focus. And so don't you find it wonderful, remarkable, and wonderful that under those conditions you were actually able to focus yourself into your desire and away from your fear? Anytime there's something going on with your physical apparatus, we would like you all to know this. Anytime there's something going on with your physical apparatus that is more intense, let's say, your resources, your inner being, the source within you is focusing in a stronger way. So you actually have more opportunity for stronger alignment then than at the other time. Most people, however, do not receive the benefit of that because their worrisome engines are keeping them from, but you weren't in that situation. In other words, you were moving enough in vibrational alignment with who you were. And so it's a wonderful opportunity for us to all have this conversation. We said to you all the other day that if your engines on your train that are moving in the direction of your desire are moving with enough velocity, it doesn't matter what your beliefs are. And there's something emphatic. There is a greater benefit when there is resistance and desire is pulling stronger, and you have conscious awareness that that's what's happening. Because in those situations, you are finding the knowledge or the understanding to just let go of those unnecessary worrisome things. There is always a resolution. There is always a resolution. And the timing is your choice. So you just showed yourself that you can have perfect timing too.
Yeah, that's delicious, because this experience was so wonderful. I felt that also this morning in the meditation. A difference when I'm not really aligned and I do meditate, I don't feel at that time the whole vortex as a possibility. And this morning I felt it was like this, you know.
So what do you think, from inside the experience of this, what do you think enhanced your connection? Here's what we're asking. Do you think that the manifestation and the wonderful outcome is responsible for the greater alignment? Or do you think the greater alignment was responsible for the outcome?
The greater alignment, the last.
So the greater alignment was responsible for the outcome. And now, can the outcome also be responsible for the greater alignment? Can't it be that sort of cycle where you align even without really good reason? You align because you know about alignment, because you trust the process, not because you're in a situation. We really like this conversation because you weren't using what you were living as your reason for alignment. You found alignment a part of what you were living. You were able to separate. This is the powerful message from this experience that you're assisting us in translating in an emphatic way for more to hear. You weren't relying on the condition to change your alignment. You found a way for your alignment to change the condition. It's where we began earlier today. It's not the easiest thing. You said that in your opening words to us. It was not easy under those conditions. So what do you think gave you the resolve or ability to focus in a situation where it was not so easy? What would you say it was about?
Because intellectually, I understand the whole thing.
Yes.
So I thought, okay, I'm sitting in a very serious situation.
All right. So the seriousness of the situation caused a stronger sort of determination in you.
The second thing is, okay, if I have to stay in Bilbao, then it's also right by me. Then
Yes.
I take an overnight in Bilbao, take the transfer to Lisbon, and then, okay, I lose this workshop.
So those contrasting experiences really helped to clarify. In other words, this is why this conversation all day here today about focusing is so perfect for this conversation, because we've been talking about eyes focusing, we're talking about energy focusing, and you're talking about how this situation caused you to mentally and emotionally focus. It's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Yeah. We like it.
Me too.
Enough? Something more?
Yes, because maybe...
Before you go further, we want to ask you to just sort of do a sort of self-check with yourselves. Under those conditions, do you think you could focus? Or would the situation carry you away? Because this is the difference between deliberate creation and creating by default. Most people have an emotional response to the conditions, where an unconditional creator is one who chooses the vibration regardless of the condition. Powerful.
Because this event was for me also the reason to I want to sit in this chair. And then when I wasn't aligned, my question was completely different. I would ask you, why in this whole situation, I'm happy, I feel, I'm on the ship with you and everybody, and why does it happen at this time, this event?
So feel the defensiveness of that question and the unhelpfulness of that question. And in alignment, what is the question?
The question was that it felt like a gift.
Yeah.
Clarifying moment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good.